Hello and welcome to episode 118 of the Green Outdoors podcast. My name's Kyle.
I'm AJ.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Ryan.
And we're in 2.0 makeshift podcast room.
We're getting there. We're waiting on deliveries.
Still figuring things out.
We'll still do it in the same order.
That's true, too.
Ryan had the idea of wanting to remodel the podcast room I guess not last week, but the week before was the first week in here when we had Beth. Which the nice thing about having the podcast room that way was we were able to see her way better.
Yeah.
Because historically it was just me was the only one who could see the guest. So that's kind of cool, but it's more of this relaxed setting. But we got new chairs coming and other things. But I like the little festive shelf here. You didn't get the other one up yet.
No, I didn't want to hang the other one because if I hung that one, then I would know what it looks like, and I could see what mistakes we made. And I did make a mistake on it. I hung it too high because our other chairs are going to be lower. So I didn't hang the other one.
And then you got to do this.
And then you gotta
Oh,
do
so you're
that.
going to lower it?
It was a test shelf.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
So.
it's coming along. Once we get those new chairs in and we get this piece of crap table out of here, we'll be able to move
Just need
everything.
more knickknacks.
No,
Don't give it. No.
No knickknacks.
No,
No more knickknacks needed, even when we're gone.
Yeah, there you go.
But we're gonna put my buffalo rug in here when that comes. We'll
I think
put
that'd
that
be sweet.
Aoudad in
Get
here,
some mounts in here, yeah.
big skull. Yeah, should be sweet.
There's the access tier skull that I brought home on a plane.
Yeah.
I put
The one you found.
the one I found on the ground.
He
and
did
then,
find that.
And then
That's a pretty good find.
I
A whole skull. It's only missing a little bit of the nose.
It's called a deadhead.
That's
When you
pretty-
when you
pretty sick.
find instead of just finding a shed, you find a whole head. That's a deadhead.
It was just roadkill.
Yeah, might have been. It was in the tractor tracks. It
Oh,
wasn't.
maybe.
It wasn't super well hidden.
No, and there was a lot of skulls out there, honestly.
It had like a redneck yard left it out in the front yard feel, even though it was in a field where it was like very findable, but like someone left it out there like a busted trampoline kind of thing.
You said
Oh,
there
yeah,
were a lot
definitely.
of skulls out there. How many?
I didn't count.
Was it like an elephant graveyard?
What a question.
What am I, some sort
Or
of
was it-
savant? It's 5 years ago.
I just, 5 to 10. 3. Is 3 a lot?
No, more than that.
The episode's actually from, I want to say it's episode 15 on it's on our YouTube channel and Carbon TV.
Yeah, because 16 was pigs and spearfishing.
Okay. Then no need to continue. I'm just kidding.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah, that episode is on our YouTube and Carbon TV platforms. You can find that episode where we went access deer hunting in Hawaii, which was that was probably one of the coolest episodes we've ever filmed.
It was fun.
And one of the most fun trips, too.
Location, action, had everything.
Got dinner bought for us.
It's cool to
Great.
think about how much better we can make it now, too.
Yeah.
Just with our skills being,
Oh, yeah.
everyone's skills being so much better,
Mm-hmm.
and our
With a
equipment
camera.
being so much better.
Yeah, good camera.
Good camera.
Cameras
Yeah,
are
no,
better.
yeah, cameras are better. So no, I think that'd be pretty cool. We're actually going back to Hawaii, we think, for a couple episodes this coming year for the following season, but they're gonna be different. It's not gonna be access deer and pigs. It's gonna be something different. So and it's gonna be weird.
Be fun to go back.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait. Different island though. We went to Maui last time. This will be the Big
The
Island.
big island.
Mm-hmm.
Which I,
I like-
think is just the Big Island, right? It doesn't have like a weird name.
I think
Good question. I
I
don't
think
know.
I think it's called Hawaii.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Is it like New York, Hawaii.
No, I think
could
that
be.
is it.
Like if you say you're going to Hawaii, I guess technically you'd be going there.
Hawaii.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been, so
Speaking in pigeon.
I know how to say it. This past weekend, Jeff and I hunted on Saturday with Caleb from the Gasoline Gypsies, and we got a couple ducks, and we got buffalo heads. So those ducks I brought home and cleaned and put in the freezer after soaking them in salt water for 48 hours. And then on the next podcast, we'll try those. I think the next podcast. And then Sunday, I went with Jeffrey, and we got some bluebills. So, which is also known as Jeffrey talk for a minute about the trip, and I'm gonna look that up. I think
Lesser scalp.
Yep, nice.
Was it as disastrous as the first
First-
time getting
first
blown
session?
around?
No, and I know we talked about that on the last podcast. Was like the wind was really bad and stuff, but it wasn't as bad the next day. And Jeff and I obviously knew to go to the exact spot where Caleb and I were the week before or the day before. and we set up. It was, it's Saginaw Bay. There was a lot of people out there because it was Saturday.
We
there was
both set up. We both set up. We both had waiters, and we got in and just set everything. Oh no, that's right. You forgot your waiters.
Yeah.
That was,
And normally that would sound like it was me trying to get out of work, but I think we all know with Jeffrey's pace, that's the last thing on earth I wanted.
6 a.m. Hey, hurry! Oh, you can't. Oh man.
Pick up the pace. Yeah, like what did you do? 'Cause I get here at like 5:45 or 5 a.m. or whenever we decided to meet. I get here.
We decided to meet at 4:30 to be clear. So while I was waiting, I worked on other stuff.
I don't know, man.
You got here at 4:30?
No, he stayed the night. He stayed the night here.
I was
Oh.
up and ready to go at 4:30.
Up and ready to go. I don't think he slept because it was
He probably
4.
didn't.
I pulled in at 4:45. I said between 4:30 and 5 in text. I have proof. In text, I have proof.
Mm-hmm.
I got here like 4:45, and he had like full-on work mode outside because he was supposed to set up the blind and reinforce everything the night before.
Did.
But in the morning, he was out there working with like lanterns. All the lights were on, like outside, full work mode.
So
He's already sweating.
there's the
Right.
There's
So
the,
I have a hunch.
there's the wooden structure, and then there's all the grasses that go over it. The grasses that were already there, they're already beat up real bad.
This
from
is on our boat.
From driving back and forth. Those ones I was reinforcing, so that way when we drove, they wouldn't get beat up as much. And then when we get there, we'll put the rest of the grass on, because what's the point of driving for an hour and putting that grass on if it's just going to get beat up while you're driving, flapping in the wind and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I figure the structure's good, and then once we get there, we'll put all the grass on, and that's what we did, and it worked out fine.
It was.
So why'd you do it in the morning?
While I was waiting, I was adding zip ties just to further secure stuff, because I was just sitting there.
So in a couple episodes ago, we ate some wild duck, and the idea is we're eating different species that are historically known as not tasting good, but we're not. AJ puts it away. Then he's like, "No thanks." Then, but we're not doing anything to it, like as far as like really seasoning it or
It looks good.
yeah.
Looks like it doesn't look
Pass that to Jeff.
like the last one was a little rare, right?
No, the last one was a little overdone.
Oh yeah, sorry.
He left it in the oven.
So this duck is the bluebill. So we shot 3 or 4 of these.
Cheers.
3. Cheers.
Did we also put fish rub on this one?
Tummy sticks.
No, all I did was
Hang
and now
on.
no, all I did to this was I soaked it in salt water for 2 days to pull a lot of the blood out, and then I soaked it in milk for 8 hours.
Mhm.
And then I patted them dry, a little salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic, and then seared them in the pan with corn oil because that's what I had at the house.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, well, not all at once, so everyone just start taking bites so there's
You
not
go,
like
Jeff.
dead space. Don't chew in the thing. No, don't lean into it, Joe Rogan.
Pull Joe Rogan.
They
Yeah,
ate
with the
pizza
pizza.
the other day. Oh my gosh, him and Elon Musk, that was hard.
Don't talk to him like he's gonna be like, oh,
You
yeah.
can't. You got to talk to the
He-
mic still
he
if you're
did
allowed
it.
to talk.
I did
You
it.
said, I'm trying to compromise you.
Yeah. There is no.
The,
You're
the
either
last episode, you went.
Oh yeah, as a joke. I
Yeah.
was like self-aware.
So I want AJ's critique first. Keep in mind, this is a duck that's supposed to not taste good, supposed to be bad, and all I did was put salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic on it. Nothing else.
That's,
Was it
an,
soaking
that's
too?
an 8.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going in.
Much better than the,
But talk about the depth of your thoughts, and AJ, you too.
it has almost no game flavor. The
Oh,
game
wow.
flavor is much less.
Yeah, there's no game flavor.
The
I give it a 7.6.
Yeah.
Dang.
The one we ate while you were gone, I gave a 5.
Okay.
So
Which
Yeah,
that's-
we also ranked highly though. We ranked it higher than he did.
Warm, off the grill. It's
Yeah, that
gonna
was-
add a couple more
Yep.
points.
That was my bad.
well seasoned.
Which I didn't do anything.
cooked well.
Ryan liked the last one, doesn't like this one.
No.
yeah,
What?
I'd eat this.
This one's so much better than the last one.
I agree with Jeffrey.
Mm-mm.
What do you not like garlic? What?
Once you get past like the seasonings, what's in there is not good to me.
What did you think?
It's more
I think it's better
mild.
than goose.
Wow.
It's more mild than the duck we had 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the other duck had a lot more flavor. Ducky.
I could see
Yeah.
where it could go to the edge of not being good, but
Yeah.
I think it like stops.
It's almost riding a cart down.
Yep, exactly.
And then like there's like the level of not
if it
good
goes
anymore.
off the cliff, it's terrible,
If-
but it
as long-
stops.
When you first take a bite, you're like, yeah. And then like it's going down as you're
Yep.
chewing it. And then if you get past a certain cliff, you're dropping off.
Exactly.
To not good. Okay.
Yeah.
But you give it a what? What was your final?
7-6.
Jeffrey?
I went with an 8.
Ryan?
4.
All right.
And
What?
I like it.
I'm-
It's decisive.
I'm a 7-8 right between Jeff and AJ. What didn't you like about it?
Just like-
He fell off the cliff.
Yeah, something about the flavor of the meat.
Was your bite chewy? Mine was not.
No, it was like if it was the last duck, it probably would have made my score even higher based on like its tenderness. There's like
And
consistency
I
was
default
really good.
don't jump to try duck, so I'd eat
Where?
that.
Do you know where his bite came from? Was it like the middle?
His was an end.
Yeah, I got an end
That makes
piece.
no sense.
I wouldn't mind you trying a middle piece if you would.
I'd try it.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if the piece you got had less contact with the milk, so it.
I was anticipating destroying it.
Why?
Duck is not my thing.
Yeah.
What about
It's-
duck?
But I
it's-
haven't had-
it's,
Pretty hit or miss.
I haven't had duck l'orange in a long time, and I wouldn't mind trying a little citrus.
L'orange.
That's better. That's better.
I wonder if your end got overcooked. You know what I mean? Like the ends get cooked too much, and then it starts to pull out a
It was
different.
still really tender though.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't. It won't necessarily destroy the tenderness just because it got overcooked. But wild game overcooked is not good. So like the end pieces are obviously going to be more well done than the center. But you liked that better.
Yeah, that made my score go up.
What do you give it now?
7.
Would you be able to like make pulled duck?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
could?
Yeah. Yeah. The whole point of this experiment though is to show people what duck tastes like that isn't supposed to be good. Next week we're eating buffalo heads, which are supposed to be on the bottom of the totem pole, lower than the last two.
Prison food.
The last piece I had, if someone served it to me, I would not be upset.
Right, you'd eat
The
it.
previous piece, I'd be upset.
Yeah.
So that's a bluebill duck. They're a little bit as far as diver ducks go, they're one of the bigger ducks that we see in Michigan.
Yeah.
I get it. Canvasbacks are better. You suck. I get it. But bluebills and redheads are like the two big ducks we get pretty frequent. And next thing I would like to try redheads. I'd like to get a couple of those and have that to eat. We were getting pumped when Jeff and I were hunting. We're like getting different species, and I'm like, oh, we can try that. We can try that.
Mm-hmm.
But bluebills, I think are I like that meat.
Yeah.
I would eat that.
And if you'd like to try duck just like we prepared at home, send a certified check for $50 to P.O. Box. No.
You can't sell wild game. Can't sell wild game. You can't sell wild game.
Still can't sell it.
Yeah, so many
You see
people.
how I didn't say the P.O. Box and it was a joke? Can't sell it. Nope.
No. I like it.
Yeah, I dig it.
I was happy with piece number 2.
Again, though, like if we prepared it in a recipe, I think you'd be in really good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it was just
I
Maybe
wonder what
some-
it would have
time.
been like no soaking.
yeah. So I get the idea of like wanting to taste the duck for what it is and not messing with it. The reason why I'm doing the salt water in the milk is because I always talk about this. There's a video. Jeff will put the link in the description for you because he'll do the description correctly, and it will show. There's like a how to clean a mallard and how to clean a wild duck properly and dry age it. And if you just cut breasts out of a mallard after you kill them and you cook them in a pan, the flavor is completely different than if you should dry age it. And the reason being is because ducks have a ton of blood. And in that blood stores a lot of the water that they drink, which is a lot of pond water. And you get that pond-flavored, scummy-flavored,
Catfish.
inhibited into the meat. And it gets in there, and it sticks, and it stays. And if you do not dry-age duck, and what happens during the dry-aging process, and you'll watch the video to how to do it, but the proteins break down, and you have to leave them connected to the bone. So if a muscle is connected to the bone, and you leave it that way, we all know what rigor mortis is, where a body tenses up, and it's basically the muscle tightening, like, look at me, and
I'm dead. Look at me.
and what happens is when it does that rigor mortis, it pulls against itself, and the fibers of the proteins of the meat kind of rip apart because it's pulling against the tension that it has on the bone at all the different points when it tries to tighten up. And that releases the blood. And the longer you do that, the more the blood is released. And that's why aging meat in general is good and tastes different. So I always say, too, is like if you've ever had dry aged beef. So I had it in Vegas the one time, and it was like dry aged for like 30 days or something like that. It gets a little funky after a while, though. You got to watch it because they'll like cut off mold on the outside, and then you're eating the inside part. But it releases everything, and then it becomes a really good sponge of anything else. So if you like cook it in butter, it's going to absorb that butter. If you cook it, it's going to absorb those flavors. And you're replacing dirty scum water for, butter and spices and stuff like that. So dry aging duck, allowing that blood to come out of it, it's a completely different flavor. It tastes different in every way. It takes a different profile, and it also picks up, seasonings and things like that way, way, way better.
So it should be like foundational in your like duck recipes for anyone out there.
Right.
Like no matter what, you should be doing it.
Now, the poor man's version of that is salt water, because salt water will pull out blood as well. But to be honest with you, I've kind of noticed it only seems to do it in like the outer 20% of the duck. So it's not doing it nearly as impactfully as dry aging it, but it does it some. And my thought process with that is like the diver ducks, they are in big water, lakes and sort of thing. And I don't think that their blood is impacted and gross. I don't think their blood tastes good, but it's not as bad.
But
so
they're eating more like crustaceans and things like that, so they still get that sea fishy flavor that you have to, get out of them.
So I kind of just have done the salt water to at least take the zip out of the blood. And like I soaked them for 2 days in salt water, and like that water was red all the way to the top. And I mean, it was deep too. And it was all blood. So I took that. And then in order to neutralize a little bit of the salt flavor, because last week we had the ringneck duck, or 2 weeks ago. And the ringneck duck, the problem with that was we said it tasted kind of like jerky, and I think it's because I didn't do a good enough job getting the salt water off after I soaked it. So that was like my hypothesis. I could be wrong. So for these ones, I soaked them in milk for like 6 hours today, 8 hours, in order to pull out all the salt and and kind of neutralize any game flavor, to try and at least get the flavor of like what the duck has. Still trying the duck without a recipe, but giving it its best potential for not doing anything to it to formally actually try the duck, if that makes sense.
Milk is another type of, it's similar to dry aging, because instead of allowing the muscle to break down by pulling against the bone, you're soaking it in an acid, and the acid helps to break down the muscle fibers and pull out some of that blood. You can do it in milk. You can do it in, I've seen orange juice, but orange juice and lemon juice, the more acidic things like that, can also dry out the meat. So I like milk.
Milk is acidic? I thought it was on the base side.
What its pH is, though, is perfect.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like when we say acidic, we don't mean like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, no.
We mean like its profile, the lactose profile, is good for breaking down duck at the appropriate level. Because, like, you could put, for instance, like, there's recipes that call to put something in beer or Coke or Sprite.
I would
like
say cola is one of them, isn't it?
A whole meat. And you can do that, but for a short time, because it makes the outside layer of meat kind of messed up, like gummy-ish, like, because it's so acidic.
If you leave it too long.
So I've always
like
watched.
cooking it.
He's saying acidic. I've always watched the way I've worded it for that reason, and I'm always like, it neutralizes game flavor well and seems to blah blah. I always say that because of what you're saying as far as like, well, it's not acidic.
No, milk is acidic. It has lactic acid.
To a degree though, but it's still on the more mild side.
Yeah, it's just less acidic.
Mm-hmm. So I'm always just careful how I word it. You're not wrong, but to keep from like, just 28 gaugers that like want to keep poking at you, I kind of dodge that conversation.
All right.
Yeah. Anyhow, so episodes 7 and 8 are what we're going to talk about this week. So if you watch the Greenway Outdoors, the first one we'll go through.
Before we start talking about the episodes, I want to know why a picture that I made in 2018 is up on the main screen that we're all looking at right now. What? Why?
I want to know why you had it handy.
Crackhead Kyle.
You went to you went to the dentist yesterday.
Those were my rough days.
It's better
And
than
you-
the fat.
Those were the
picture.
Pursuit Channel days.
You sent in the group chat. You said, "Hey, we can't do the podcast on Tuesday because I got to go to the dentist." And you said dentist, and I went, "I got the
Here
picture."
we go.
Finally.
Yes, I've been waiting for this for years. Well, I'm sure I sent it to you back when I made it, but we are staring at a picture that I took of Kyle at a gas station, and he's got a weird thing about his teeth, so I went in on a photo editor and removed all the teeth.
I have a weird thing about my teeth.
Yeah.
I like them. That's that weird bit I have about liking my
and
teeth.
I removed all of his teeth, and then I replaced it so it looks like you're looking at his gum. So it's just toothless Kyle.
Dude, when you-
great.
He's got that meth.
Like, when you look at that picture,
homeless look.
you think differently about my growing up life for sure. Like, you think something went wrong.
You look like when you close your mouth, your chin's gonna be too high.
It looks like I'm always working something over, even though there's no food in there.
It's mushy.
Like, I haven't
You have
eaten
to-
in a half hour, but I'm still working on something.
You have to drink your food for life.
What made it the funniest was how fast Jeff got that picture.
I was like, I'm going to the dentist. 30 seconds later, that
Boom.
picture came through. I'm like,
Yeah,
he's
he's
like, I was waiting.
But I like that you kept it going and put it up so we're all looking at it.
It looks like I have a.
It's so funny.
It looks like I have a beat up trampoline in my backyard. It looks like.
And you can't go on the left side because there's a hole, but you know just to stick to the right side.
For dinner, your mom would say, "Did you eat your ramen? You want your ramen?"
Oh.
That's the best you could get for dinner.
It looks like I spend a good deal of my day fighting the raccoons in the backyard that like keep getting into the damn house.
It looks like you have a blue mohawk with a mohawk bicycle helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I take it off and the mohawk
Yep.
keeps going.
Yep.
Nice.
Just when you thought it was over.
It looks like instead of growing up in my house, I grew up in Jeff's house.
We're in the same neighborhood.
It doesn't
We had
matter.
cable.
There's a difference.
You didn't.
yeah.
You wore my shirts.
I had Gatorade.
It looks like I have 3 cats that I didn't bother naming.
Oh, barn cats.
Mm-hmm.
They're outside
Definitely.
cats, but they're living inside sometimes.
Oh.
We have he's indoor outdoor.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we can take that. then.
I'm sick of looking at it.
But get that.
Megan,
It's the desktop. I can't change it right now.
the funniest thing is like I'm going to the dentist because I'm responsible
Yeah.
about my very good teeth. But thanks, Jeff.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Savage Arms, better comes standard. Nosler Ammunition, world's finest bullets, ammunition, and brass. Boss Shot Shells, superior made and American made. Carlson's Choke Tubes, the only choke tube we've ever purchased. Onyx Hunt, know where you stand.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
For every purpose, for every path, for every soul, for every season, there's a Ram.
Legends aren't born, they're created. Introducing Impulse from Savage, the all-new American-made straight-pull bolt-action rifle. Unmatched innovation, fast reloads, maximized efficiency, repeatable accuracy. Welcome to American Straight Pole. Only from Savage.
For more of the Greenway Outdoors, head over to thegreenwayoutdoors.com for our weekly video podcast, how-to videos, Greenway gear, and information on our shooting partners.
How about those episodes?
You know what we could do? And we'll get someone every week with something like this, where we got me this week, like we took out my teeth. We had to fake something. We got one for Ryan. We'll make one for AJ where he like doesn't have feet or something, and then we'll just use a normal picture of Jeff.
and we still laugh at it.
All right, double up on Kyle on week 4.
You know you're not supposed to bite back. Literally.
I'm the one making the pictures.
Okay, moving on. So I'm the one making pictures. He does himself. He goes, look, nothing's different. He's got this huge package. And he's like, oh, normal. That's Jeffrey. Look at him, old 3-leg. Mr. Tripod. Ha, ha, ha. Anyhow. Moving on. So it's funny, too, is like every week when we post the podcast, we get a lot of people that like will write in or comment or whatever. And they're like, yeah, good one, guys. I like the subject about this and that. And then there's always like a comment on our Facebook that it's like, what the hell is this? And it's like, you can tell the people that like bought into the ad that I put out for it, clicked it and watched it and like, what is this?
Or the amount of old people who just don't understand anything.
It's unbelievable. Never let us become that.
I was looking for a hunting podcast. What is this?
Yeah. Episodes 7 and 8. Snakehead in Maryland and ice fishing in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know those episodes, you can go to history.com or the History app on your TV and stream these episodes through the History channel. And we're talking about episodes 7 and 8. And one of these is the most watched episode we've ever done. And I don't love that. I wouldn't want to knock a hole in the episode, Snakehead. I think it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like things about it where it's like it was a tough one to edit. It was a tough one to get to time for History Channel because it wanted to be longer than it was.
Yeah.
For the conversations. Filming at night, was
hard.
tough. We did bow fishing. So we're bow fishing for the invasive snakehead. Those of you who don't know what a snakehead is, it's a fish that was brought over from Asia, and there's a couple different species of it in Maryland. They have a lot of them in Chesapeake Bay. And the fascinating thing about Chesapeake Bay is it's saltwater at its core, but there's so much runoff of fresh water from streams, from rain, from melted snow, that it pushes that salt water down because it just fights it so much that it dilutes it so much that it's a freshwater fishery sometimes, most of the time.
It's a very strange place.
I think that was actually a decent description.
It's a half and half depending on where you're at in the bay.
So one of the issues, because I was like, it's freshwater because snakehead's a freshwater fish. And they're like, yeah, but watch the tides. And I was like, what?
Huh?
Hey.
Oh, yeah, no one would answer you.
Yeah.
We're in a river right now.
And I'm like, that's not it's fresh water. There are no tides. There's bass out here. You know what I mean? What do you mean tides? And
Every single person you ask, they'd go, well,
like,
is it fresh or salt?
It was really
Say.
annoying.
look me in the eyes. And I found out from Dr. Love, and that's not a made-up name. That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Joseph Love.
He was like, if you had to make a case, you would say it's salt water because the ocean is what fills it. But it gets diluted so much by the freshwater runoff that it's technically freshwater. But there's different times, there's different tides during the day and also different times of year that it's more salt than fresh or more fresh than salt. And that you could go out and catch like a largemouth bass and then like go 100 yards over and catch a redfish and then catch a shark and then go back up and catch, a bluegill.
Go get your crab traps too.
Yeah. Yeah,
crab
it's
traps
like
everywhere.
so like at
Yeah,
any
that's
given
right.
moment in the fishery of Chesapeake Bay, you are catching literally anything.
Yeah.
And that really, it got to me because I'm like, I went on this trip unclear using Google what the hell the water was. So hopefully that explains it to somebody who's like, thank you, who's also fighting that war. And I don't think everyone there knows. I think they're like, yeah, that's just how things are.
Yeah,
but it's like
just the way it
not
is.
anywhere else.
And it's funny too because where we met them, I forget the name of it, but it was something or other creek. But nothing like you think a creek, and you'd think something that's like 2 or 3 feet across, a little, a creek. This thing was like this thing's like half a mile across.
It was.
No,
It's called a
you're
creek.
thinking of a creek.
Toothless Kyle says it's a crick. But yeah, this thing was giant.
Huge.
I mean, it was huge. Just the river that we were in that connects to Chesapeake Bay in general. So it's a confusing system. The water can go out on you like that. We were in water that was deep enough, and then like a couple hours later, we're like, we got to get out of here. We're gonna get stuck.
That and the rivers have tides because it's connected to the ocean, and so tide comes up, it goes farther onto land, and mind you, we're doing this all at nighttime. This whole process happens. Tide goes up, the water goes closer up on land, brings all the dead trees and everything with it.
Yeah.
And drags it out into the middle of the river and everything, and then you're cruising around at nighttime. There's a log, just run it over.
Or a fence.
And because tide's going up and down.
Tell the fence story now.
If you were to be sitting and you're worried about tide, you're like, oh, if I sit still and the tide starts going out, it'll get more shallow. I can read that on my thing and say, oh, it's getting shallow. We got to get out of here. You're constantly moving while bow fishing, so there's no good. Is it just shallow here, or is it shallow everywhere now because tide's going out? I don't know.
We don't know the area at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also learned pretty quick, too, that the area we wanted to be in was arguably too shallow for the boat. So, like, we wanted to be in these certain areas, but they're too shallow for the boat, but that's where the fish were.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say arguably. I would say just was. But we did it anyways. It worked out.
We got stuck something like 30 times.
Yeah.
Did we?
Like, genuinely stuck.
There was one time where it kind of got scary.
Yeah.
At night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pushing with the oar. We're all right. Everyone lean, rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're like in the boat rock, and that didn't make the show because it took all 4 of us to accomplish it, so it wasn't filmed. And like we're like tuck away the cameras because we're gonna rock this boat like our life depends on it. So we were like leaning and rocking and lean with it, rock with it, lean. No, but we did, and that's like what it took to get out. It's like no one was dressed to get in the mud, and I say mud on purpose. So like we'd get on top of a log and we're stuck, and then you're like trying to get unstuck, and then a lot of like what you had going for you was like you weren't stopping in the shallow, but once you were stopped and on a log, you were just. And our boat's at 2072. It ain't little, so it's heavy, and then it's got a 150 horse motor on it. And I swear we need to get a jet drive motor on that. I'm gonna talk to Bass Pro. That's like you need to put jet drive motors on these.
It does. Like
That's right.
For as big as it is, though, it does go surprisingly shallow. Like
Trust
there
me.
was some place, like when we were first getting out there, you're like, really? We're floating through this right now.
Yeah, it's such a big boat, and there's so many people, and we had 6 people on at one point. So many people on the boat. Such a big boat. Such big motors, big equipment, cameras. We had to rig out the whole boat with lights on the inside. All these different things, and it's like a foot of water, and then we're going.
It was crazy.
I'm like, okay. All right.
Yeah. Smaller boat, you'd go over the log and you're already over it. That's it. On this boat, you know in time to stop, but now you've stopped and it's like in the middle of the boat.
It's like a
So now
seesaw.
you're on a seesaw.
That was happening like a big boat too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the fights that we had every night. And then like
Beaching it.
so the fence, what happened?
No. We're talking about the island now.
Yeah, I was trying to put on music and I was looking down. I don't know. It was like
AJ and I were on a different boat.
it was 3:00 in the morning, and I'm trying to put music on for the drive back, and I was looked down on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know there was a turn, and nobody was like turn. I was just kind of looking, and I was supposed to follow the other boat, so it's like on me. But I was trying to put music on, and I just.
In his defense, that island came out of nowhere.
Those islands are always moving around.
I almost beached us.
Yeah.
We turn around and the
Kinda
boat's
beached
like,
us.
I gunned it backwards and got us out of it.
It was deep enough around the island. It was fine.
yours
but
was way worse.
And the boat
though.
is made to be.
I don't know that mine was way worse.
What?
Oh, dude.
Dude.
It was way worse.
100%. Where you could have
We would've
destroyed the
plowed
motor.
right over it.
No.
Do you know what chain link fence would have done to our motor?
Was it chain link?
Yeah.
All I remember was the rickety wood that it was on.
No, there was a chain link fence stretched across. So there's why this exists, I don't know. But
Yeah, that's true.
in the water, there's a fence that comes all the way out. I almost wonder if it used to be a yard.
Across.
Or like low tide it is.
Or does it catch floating logs and stuff to prevent it from going all the way
Oh, that's a
out?
good thought,
There
actually.
could be a purpose to it, but it's way out into the river. And keep in mind, this river's giant. Like, we're talking like 1,000 yards across
It's
or more.
huge.
Yeah.
And like 400 yards out is a fence, chain link, that sits well above the water and goes all the way below it. And I knew it was there because we saw it on the way out. So I said to Jeff, put him in the front of the boat. I can't see because I have lights out of the boat, but I also have lights in the boat, and there's an elevated platform in the front. I won't see the fence till it's too late. So Jeff had one job, and
it's nighttime.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're driving in, and I'm like, to get us in, tide is going out rapidly. We are losing depth like nobody's business. Where it was 8 feet of water, it's now 2. We're gunning it to try and get through. So I'm like, all right, I got to go fast to get us out of here. I'm going to go like 30. But, Jeff, you have to watch for any logs or anything in there. And he built trust because he's doing this, like go this way to dodge that log and go that way to dodge that log. We got a system in place. And then he starts drifting like he does to his phone. And
I looked down.
No.
We were mid-conversation. There was a fact we discussed. I looked down at my phone.
Mid-conversation, we were hauling.
You were watching a
one was
movie.
Talking.
You were watching a movie. He's on his phone. He's on his phone.
I'm down here watching The Mummy.
3. And all of a sudden, I see it.
Hey.
And because I see it, it's
Jeff.
and I go, hey, like that. And then he goes, hey, stop. Like he yells, stop. After I acknowledge the fact that I've seen the fence. And let me say, I started this conversation by saying, if I see the fence, it's too late. So then he yells at me like I need to stop. No shit. I gun the boat backwards, but there's no stopping such a heavy boat with 30-mile-an-hour momentum. And we crashed right into that fence.
We didn't crash into the fence.
We went into the fence.
We went into the fence hard.
We vaguely went into the fence.
No,
I was
we
between-
folded the whole side of it. We did damage.
I was
to
between
the fence.
the boat and the fence. I know we didn't crash into the fence.
When I tell you we ran straight into the
Oh,
fence.
no. I'm not
undebatable.
I'm not saying we didn't.
He's like, I'm not
into
saying we
the
didn't
fence,
crash into
but
it.
I'm
I'm just saying we didn't really crash
But
into it.
I was between the boat and the fence.
So we hit the fence.
We went.
We hit me and I hit the fence.
Oh. There we go. We didn't.
Because I was swimming. Because I was what? We smashed into the fence. I gunned it backwards
filled the back
as
of the boat
hard
with
as I
water.
could. Yeah, because when you gun it in reverse, when you're going that fast forward.
Sprays.
Yeah, so I get drenched, and we hit the fence. Pretty good.
Yeah, it did happen.
And then we yell at him for like 20 minutes. And then the funny thing is,
But island, there was no discussion of the island after the island.
yeah, because we didn't really hit it.
It's like 2 days later.
We beached us.
No, we didn't. I was good.
A third
though.
of the boat was on the island.
Yeah, but it's like a
was
nice
out of the water.
It was a nice ramp. It's not a chain link fence.
Both of you.
I'm not
Both
saying
of
that
you-
mine. I'm not saying that mine isn't not good, but what I am saying is yours is a lot worse.
I disagree.
You had one job.
Okay. What was your job?
Let's vote.
Driving the boat.
I had
No music.
my job was to put Whiskey Myers on. You were watching The Mummy 3 for yourself. So anyhow, we back off it and we're arguing, and yet he's doing the thing where it's not a big deal even though it was. And we're all arguing and stuff, and then we realize that like we kind of stop for a minute and we're quiet, and we realize we hear people talking, having a campfire.
We got to get out of
and
here.
and they're talking quiet. So that means our argument and the whole the hitting of the fence, the arguing about the fence, the whole bit had to have been witnessed by
There's
these
gonna be footage
by
that
these good
surface-
folks.
There's gonna be footage that surfaces later, but it's just
I
gonna be
would-
nighttime.
I would
Yep.
love that. That would be hilarious. footage.
I
No,
would-
it probably
Settled
wouldn't.
the
I would
debate.
do. The only thing you can hope is that they got good footage of us smashing into the fence, where then Jeffrey's immediately saying, "No, we didn't hit it. We didn't hit it," and the whole fence is caved in. And he's like, "No, we didn't. No, we didn't." That would be great.
I
It
was
would
looking
be.
down at it.
So yeah, I mean, my expert driving saved us, but the point is, you smashed us up pretty good.
Stop!
Um,
I'm doing something.
But the variety of species that we saw at night was catfish, bowfin,
Gar.
lots of gar.
The bass thing.
Biggest gar ever.
Yeah.
The cool thing about there was a few bass we saw. The cool thing about the gar was the big gar seemed to like play with the boat the way dolphins do. They would come up along the side of the boat and ride in the lights. Like
Oh yeah.
we shot a lot of them while moving pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like you could be moving 15 and they'd be next to you. And
If
you
we
could
were
shoot.
moving to a different spot, we would see gar.
Every
That
time.
was-
Every time we went any kind of distance at any kind of speed, gar showed up.
A lot of beavers too.
Hairy ones. Yeah, we did see. Yeah, don't. We did see quite a few beaver actually, and
Why
muskrats.
did you say hairy beaver?
That'd just be funny, just a bit.
Yeah. I don't think it needs explaining why you said it.
Yeah, you get it, Brian.
I don't explain it.
No, I believe that. So, anyhow, we did that. We learned about the water. We did the fishing at night. We met a couple of guys that were pretty cool, and then we ended up hearing about the foxy fish. And we went there, and the first thing that we were enamored with at the foxy fish was the dad of the owner.
Yeah.
That guy, you can actually play his bits.
He was Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
know-
could tell he grew up, or I don't know when.
Lived through.
I don't know what Rodney Dangerfield,
Yeah,
what
lived
that
through.
era was.
He would have been an adult by the time.
Yeah, I guess this guy was older. But anyways, he loved. Rodney Dangerfield was his
He
personality.
loved stealing Rodney Dangerfield's jokes.
But what I will say about all that is it is really funny. I like when he sang to you. That was really great.
Say you do,
Say
and
it.
I'll spend my whole life just loving you too. When tomorrow's done and just a memory, I'll still be loving you. Say you love me too. Say you do.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Bert.
But what I will say is I was upset that I didn't know like any of the jokes, so I thought this guy was the freshest.
He's genius.
Yeah, I was like, this guy is
This is so
got
modern.
some- I think he's going somewhere.
My favorite bit that he used was, "Hey, I got kidnapped, and the kidnappers cut off the end of my finger, and they sent it to my dad, and my dad said, 'Hey, send more proof.'" But to really sell the joke, he was missing the tip of a finger.
Oh, that's right. Good call.
Do you think it was
but I don't know if it happened on like if accident, or if he was like,
committed?
"This is my bit."
I think he.
No way.
No, I think he.
Maybe it's a true
made that
story.
bit. I think he made that. I don't think that's a Dangerfield bit. The finger one.
No,
No, it
I
is.
found
Is
it.
it really?
Yeah, yeah.
It is
Found
one?
it.
It's
That's a
actually
bit.
probably the most found one if you Google his bits.
I will
I thought it
say,
was the respect one.
in his defense.
Don't bring it up. He's gonna say it for another 3 months.
In his defense, he did
You've
that,
earned this.
that one bit. He did better than Rodney Dangerfield because he committed more to it.
Because he didn't have the finger.
Hey, it ain't easy being me.
I liked the guy. He was very nice.
was
and
great.
They
Yeah, very
gave us
nice.
a beautiful meal.
He was a sweetheart.
He also did work with NASA, but for the life of me,
Yeah.
he had like
had
a really
very
unique life.
storied life.
He said
Oh, yeah.
aliens are real.
Yep.
Yep.
He
He
worked
said
for
that?
NASA and then
What?
left NASA to start his own restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
when did he say that?
In the beginning, you were getting B-roll like you're
There
supposed
were
to.
there were pictures.
Good
of
job,
him.
by the way. The
There
B-roll
were-
in that was great.
Yeah, there were pictures of him. Well, you didn't get this one picture. There were pictures of him,
I think he did. I didn't put it
and
in.
there was a NASA like it was a big. I don't
He
remember
wasn't
who
in the
guy
show, so
was.
the context wouldn't have made sense, so I didn't do
Yeah.
it. But no, cool guy.
very cool guy.
In addition to that, after we met him, we got to meet his daughter, who owns a Foxy Fish, and she is awesome. Like, really cool. In the show, I thought she did a great job, like explaining the market of snakehead. So you have this invasive fish that was brought in from Asia. Basically, the reason why it was brought in was because the people believed that the snakehead had healing powers, and that if the snakehead healed you, then you should let it go and survive because you wouldn't want to kill the thing that like healed you, like if you had serious ailments.
Well, they can pin it down to the exact person, can't they?
Yeah.
And it was a case of the guy's wife had cancer. They were using the snakehead as like for its healing properties.
Yeah, but what does it do? Like,
It's got to be like some religious thing.
It was like some spiritual. I think it was like a ceremony, involved around the fish.
Oh, really?
And then the fish was there. I just don't remember like what is the healing property? Like is it like they took off a scale or they grabbed its tooth or
It's not that they ate it because they then let it go.
Yeah.
So
then once it worked, they let it go.
yeah.
Like maybe like lick it or something.
It's not a frog, okay.
It's got slime.
I don't know the bit.
Slime.
The point is that the snakehead has healing properties and that they use that for their ceremonies, and then they let it go because you're gonna kill the hand that bite the hand that feeds you, you know. And someone let them go, and then on top of that, now it's like one of the things too is like they can crawl and live outside of water for 4 days as long as they're moist. So if they're moist, then they can live out of water for 4 days. So someone will take them and then throw them up on shore just to not get rid of, to kill them, and they'll crawl back into the water. So you got to like kill them.
Crawl to a different body of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reason they know that is because they had, they brought a fish in to study it and brought it into a lab. They had it in a little tote with some water and a bubbler, and then they left for the weekend, and they come back in the following morning, and the tote isn't empty. It's got the water in it, but the fish is gone. Like, oh no. What could have possibly happened to it?
It reminds me of the Gremlins with the Mogwais missing.
And they look around the lab and they found it under a lab table going.
It's a high school laboratory too, where the Mogwai is when he escapes, and then he becomes a gremlin. Then he sticks all the needles in the butt of the guy that did the experiments on him.
This wasn't a high school lab, so
it's like it.
So but you picture like the snakehead under the counter, like they're mean looking. They're super aggressive predators. You look confused.
I don't think it's far off. There's like some medical evidence behind this idea.
Licking it?
Oh, the healing.
No, not
properties?
licking it.
Oh,
what? Well, speak.
It says a freshwater snakehead fish is reported to enhance dermal wound healing. Biochemical components such as amino acids and fatty acids are important. Blah 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 blah. It goes into it.
That's any fish. Though.
But it gets more like there's like doctors who have like written reports on like the properties of.
But is that eating the flesh?
Yeah, that sounds like eating it.
Because the
I'd
people
have
were
to
talking.
imagine.
Because
Or
the
is
people
it
were
the
talking
slime?
about let it go to survive because it
Maybe
helped.
they had an extra one. I thought it was to pay respect to the animal. They're like, oh, you need to flourish here. That was my
No. It
understanding.
was like, I'm not going to kill you because you healed my wife from cancer. That was the first guy.
I don't know.
This is a story that was relayed to us, so we're hearing it at least third or fourth hand.
Yeah.
So,
At least.
You calling Dr. Love a liar? Huh?
He loves Guardians of the Galaxy.
unfortunately, people who watch the episode don't know who Dr. Love is, which is really sad because we did an entire interview with him, and then the issues we were
Yeah,
talking
time
about
issue.
earlier, it didn't work, and we had to cut it. It was a real shame.
But other than the healing properties, the food portion of the fish, and at Foxy Fish, we got to try a variety of the versions.
Mm-hmm.
We had fried, we had blackened, we had
Parmesan crusted.
Parmesan
Oh,
crusted,
yeah.
and we had bites.
Yep.
The bites were my favorite.
Beer battered?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were great.
They tasted just like the chicken at the Mexican place up the street. We have a Mexican restaurant by us.
I could see that.
I think that got cut, or at least for the history version it did. The part where I talk about the Mexican restaurant.
yeah,
but
yeah.
the Mexican restaurant up the street here has chicken tenders, and that sounds like who would get chicken tenders at a Mexican restaurant, but a lot of people go there for the chicken tenders.
They're really good.
They're crazy good, and they have like a unique flavor to them, but this fish had the exact same flavor. And I will tell you, I don't think it's every white meat's job to try and taste like chicken, wild game-wise, and I don't think it's every red meat game's job to try and taste like beef, but this fish tastes like really good chicken, and it's like a better texture, because sometimes you can get some bad textured chicken, like where it's like gummy or chewy, or like a lot of times, like if you get Chinese food and you get sweet and sour chicken, like
it's like soggy.
It's
three
not
different
cooked all the way.
three pieces will be
Pieces?
yeah, three pieces will be crappy, where you're like, I don't like this piece.
Yeah.
The fish doesn't really have that. So it's like better textured chicken, but zero fish flavor. Zero fish flavor. And that's what makes the fish so unique, is it tastes really good.
It was really good. I think I like blackened the best.
The black was very good.
The Parmesan crusted, and I know this is going to sound weird for me to say, was slightly too buttery for me.
The broiled one wasn't very good, or it was my least favorite.
Yeah, none of them were bad.
They brought broiled at the end as like
and
an
to be
after-
fair,
yeah.
we got 4 different types of
Oh, yeah.
meals.
We
Yeah,
got
it was pretty
all at
awesome.
once.
served. That was
Their
amazing.
Their hush puppies were nuts.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Their hush puppies were different than any hush puppy I've
It's
ever
true.
had too.
It was good.
They were riding the line of donut.
Yeah.
They were riding that one.
Everything we ate there was fantastic.
So it was Foxy Fish in Maryland, or was it in?
I think it was in Maryland.
Because we stayed in
yeah.
Virginia, right?
Yeah, 2 hours a day.
That was in Maryland.
Yep. So look up Foxy Fish. Go there
They
for
have
a
great-
restaurant.
They have great merch.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
they do.
We were wearing the
dang,
shirt.
I'll wear it next week.
Nicest people in the world. Great family. Good people. But the food was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just amazing. And if her dad's there and you're lucky, which he's there a lot, it sounds like on nights.
All you got to
He'll
do is
sing during
talk to
your
him a
birthday.
little and get on his good side. He'll serenade you.
Yep. Yep. But good people
They
there.
said if you go there too, they'll give you a free meal
Nope.
if you say you know us.
I don't think
I
that's...
will say,
Don't-
if you
don't do
go
that to
there
them.
and you say you know them from the Greenway Outdoors, the dad will definitely serenade you.
Yeah.
You want
That's
that,
true.
though. You
But
definitely
pay
want
for your
that.
food, you cheapskates.
They're a business. What do you want?
Get Snakehead. Get the bites, though. The beer battered bites.
No
That's-
respect. No respect.
The fish itself was wild. We shot one. It's like you shoot the thing, you put it in the live well, and it's going to be alive indefinitely until you clean it.
Yeah.
They're just
Even if the sun's coming up.
yeah, and they're just relentless fish, but they survive well. It's like one of those things though is like the restaurant serves them now, and there's people that go out and fish for them, and they run guide services and stuff like that. And the idea is to get rid of them because they're not supposed to be there, and they're out competing native fish because they're so ferocious. They're incredible predators. They can live in mud if they have to. It's just they're hardy. They're not as they don't get as jacked up by water changes or water quality. They can handle things way better.
They're hardy. They reproduce well.
They
and they grow quick.
Yep, and they protect their young too. The moms stay and protect the young, so they just have a lot going for them. And you know, they taste really good. They're cool to catch. You know, you ask yourself too, is like if you could wave a wand, would you want them all to go away? Like you probably should because of the natives.
It's like an interesting thing.
But I started to get to a hunch where I was like, you guys all seem to be kind of enjoying this.
Yeah.
You know, for people that want them all gone.
Depends on who you talk to, because that one lady that was at the whatever that check station was.
It was
she
a bait shop.
You can hunt them, but don't hunt them right here because there's one down at the end of the dock with babies, and that's my pet.
Jeez.
Calling any wild animal your pet is crazy.
It certainly
You can
isn't.
imagine that she knows the coyote without teeth.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
says that,
Yeah,
but
it's
at
her
the
grandson.
but at the same time, like people, that's what I'm saying is like the culture around them there is like, man, we got to get rid of them because they're out competing the bass and they're ruining this and ruining that and everything else, and it's like a delicate ecosystem there in Chesapeake Bay. And the blue catfish is another big invasive one. They're out competing the native fish, so those two fish combined are really hurting everything. But then it's like people really like eating blue catfish and snakehead, so it's like kind of a weird thing. It's also worth noting that on the greenwayoutdoors.com, you can buy our collectible snakehead fish
Nice.
bow fishing shirt, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's the shack one, right?
No, that's Asian carp.
carp.
This one is the one that is like has like the tricolor green, blue, and yellow.
Like neon.
Mm-hmm. On the black shirt, it looks sweet. So you can get that one. Jeff will put a picture of it right here. But
We're putting a lot into this episode.
yeah, you got your work cut out for you. And you got to edit the one we recorded a couple days ago, too. So you got a long thing. Because this is technically airing when we're up north for deer hunting. Yeah.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Savage Arms, Nosler Ammunition, Bosch Shot Shells, Wilderness Athlete, fuel for the rugged, Tracker Boats, fish the finest, Eagle Fishing, designed for the savvy angler, Rufus Teague barbecues, snacks, and spices, Rectech Grills, it's more than a grill, it's a way of life, Sea-Doo, make your own waves, LEM Products, motivating people to hunt, process, and prepare their own food, Quiet Cat, the leader in electronic bikes for hunting, fishing, camping, and exploring. Consistency. That's what you aim for with every practice shot. So when you're out in the field, you get that same consistency every shot. With Carlson's choke tubes, consistency is what you'll get. Our choke tubes are long-lasting, high quality, and made right here in the USA. Carlson's choke tubes. pattern tested, hunter approved. Find out more at choketube.com.
Are you anxious to get going? Knowing that the clock is ticking and time truly is the most precious commodity in the world? Then you, my friend, are in good company.
The next episode that we did for History Channel, because that kind of wraps that one up as far as our behind-the-scenes thoughts, I would say, was ice fishing. And this one was in Idaho. When we arrived there, and there's a little video right here.
Not looking great. Partial closure between Wilson and the Idaho state line, except the following. No trailer traffic, black ice, falling rock, slick roads, snowfall.
I was like, oh my gosh. It was just, and it was like that.
It was terrible.
Now, the dealership there is called Yeti in Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole Yeti Ram. And they hooked us up with a Badlander version of the Ram truck with the big old tires and exhaust and everything. Awesome, awesome beast of a truck. And it was just enough to get us through what we dealt with. I mean, we were in it. So our drive was a couple hours, but it took a lot longer than that to drive from Jackson Hole to where we went in Idaho to fish. And we stayed at an Airbnb, and it was like this little cozy cabin.
Yeah, it was.
It was the cool.
There was a glimpse of it in the episode.
Yeah.
Where we were staying.
Yeah, it was like a little, like, what do they call them, A-frames?
Yep.
Yep, it was a little A-frame
Mostly
hut.
roof.
Huh?
Mostly roof.
Mostly roof, yeah.
When we got there the first night, we were pretty relieved. It was so nice on the inside. We all had our own bedrooms and stuff. It was really nice. And we watched National Security and what else? Blue Streak. And we went to
Martin Lawrence.
There was
Martin Lawrence.
yeah, we were on we got our Martin Lawrence kick that night.
And
You
Daddy Daycare.
You just got to watch
Yes, good
Big,
call.
Big Mama, and then you're all set.
And we had to go to a grocery store because there was like no restaurants around. There was one, but we never went to it.
Yeah, it was down
never,
the road.
not once. Yeah, we always said we were gonna, but we ate freezer chicken pot pies,
Oh yeah, we went grocery
Mac
shopping.
and cheese.
mac and cheese, and something else.
Trout.
Yeah, but that was a different night. But yeah, we ate the trout we caught. That was one of my better recipes, though. The
It was
trout.
good.
So we caught cutthroat trout and rainbow trout hybrids in that episode, as well as regular cutthroat trout and stuff. And I cooked all the trout the one night using Rufus Teague fish rub. And we took the meat off. It was just the meat, and I used my pancake mix, flour, and breadcrumbs with the Rufus Teague fish rub. And I did a pretty good amount of the fish rub on it. And it had just enough spicy kick to it. Fried it in corn oil, and it was really good. I mean, it was unbelievable. AJ, you said that was your favorite fish?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like the stuff you've made.
Yeah. Oh.
Kyle's famous fish.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. Like, it was really good
really
trout.
good.
Yeah,
It was also the same week that we...
I had to clean him with a pocket knife because that's all we had. It was not easy.
It was the same week we announced our that we were going to be on the History Channel.
Yeah. We did a video while we were out on the ice.
It's insane that was in January.
Was it January?
Oh yeah.
He's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because that was a safe bet that there'd be ice there then.
Yeah.
And so we got in our A-frame, watched our Martin Lawrence at night, and then we took the trip out to 2 different mountains and remote lakes with Brett High and James Brower of Idaho Fish and Game, 2 of our good buddies at this point. They're friends.
They're some of the best people we've ever filmed with.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
James,
Those guys are really great.
James can only ever make one day, but Brett, I mean, like, I text with Brett now and then. And, like, when I see his name pop on the phone, I'm
He's
like,
a
that's
cool
cool.
dude.
Brett High's texting
He
me.
almost came out to the
Yeah.
our game dinner we had, and that's a long trip.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he talked about it. I was hoping that he would.
Couldn't make it.
But yeah, he's just the nicest, most helpful guy. An encyclopedia of information.
Mm-hmm.
Zero ego, kind, helpful. Doesn't make you feel stupid.
Yeah. He'd be a great professor. Like if you ever in retirement wanted to go to find a college.
I think
he'd
Brett would be
really
great about just about everything. He's like one of those people that you can trust with your wallet too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good dude.
You
I
feel-
had him hold my wallet while we
Yeah.
were in the.
You feel
jet
good.
seats.
You feel good about giving him frozen gushers even.
Yeah, I did get him to have frozen gushers. I was talking to him while we were out there. We were all hungry, so we're eating snacks and Wilderness Athlete pack-out bars and all that stuff, and you want something a little different. And I was like, I got some gushers because when we went to the grocery store,
I had to.
and I'm like, they're frozen, they're better. He's like, oh, I've never had frozen gushers. So I was talking him into it, and he goes, and finally, he's like, you know what? I think I will take a pack of those frozen gushers.
Out of nowhere too.
Yeah,
It's
like we were.
He's just sitting there silent in the.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
He was stewing on it.
He was stewing on it, and I gave it to him, and he's like, I haven't got to the. Oh, there it is, because the liquid is still liquid though.
Yeah.
They freeze just right.
Yeah, they do.
Frozen
So
gushers are
good.
good. I don't think that you should. I don't think it should be ignored that right next to the York peppermint patties in the freezer and Andy's mint should be a couple packs of gushers.
Yeah.
I had a friend say that putting hot Cheetos in the freezer is good. I don't know how it makes sense.
I don't like
That
hot
even-
Cheetos in
what would
general.
that even do?
I don't know. I've never tried it, but he claims that
Cut the heat, if anything.
he claims that it's good. I don't know how, but
No.
Idaho is also one of the sketchiest trips
No.
ever. I think it was the scariest trip ever.
In what as far as like safety?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So then we
Oh, yeah.
we
No
met up
doubt.
with them, and the Department of Natural Resources there, their Fish and Game, was nice enough to donate us a bunch of skidoos and what's it called?
Yamaha?
Yeah, but what are they, like the snowmobiles?
Oh.
I couldn't think of that word. And we took all those, and there was another really nice guy that went with us too on the snowmobile run.
Oh, yeah.
But we went like 30-something miles.
It was ridiculous.
And what I didn't know, I snowmobiled like one time as a kid. And it was just in Wisconsin, and it wasn't a big deal, and it was just around the farm, and the snow was all soft. Where we were in Idaho, it was like everywhere you were was 4 foot of snow, somewhat packed down. But if you slowed down or stopped in certain areas, you'd sink completely and just be inoperable. There's no getting out of it either.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody would have to come pull you out, and then they get stuck pulling you out. And it was like there was a point in time on the way where everybody was stuck.
Yep.
And we're just looking around like, now what? And it seems like it should be okay, but then you step off the seat when you're up to your waist. It's like,
Instantly.
well, now what? Now what?
Yeah.
And in the episode, you actually see me jump in and trying to walk and stuff like that, and like little glimpses of people getting stuck. But like, it was so much chaos, it was kind of tough to film because everyone's like almost dying.
Yeah,
And-
it was like we had like 2 opportunities to pull out cameras because you just couldn't stop. If you stopped, you're stuck.
Yep.
Like to the point too is like you could not do it alone,
No.
and I don't think 2 people's enough. Like if you're going back there, you better really know what you're doing or have like multiple people there because you like once you sink, you sunk.
Mhm.
That's it. And I just didn't envision that.
Yeah. Brett ended up giving me his snowmobile, and his was like the fast one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It was a skidoo.
And that thing was fun because me and you were riding together, and then we were kept getting stuck. So he's like, just for the sake of getting out there, he's just like, let me drive, then you ride with him.
Yep.
I'll take his.
Because
And
he's pretty experienced too.
Yeah, very. And once I was on that one, I was like light enough that I could kind of do what I wanted on it. Like me going off the beaten trail was pretty fun because it was so fast.
You had the hand warmers, didn't you? Or did all of them have them?
All of them had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do that without hand warmers.
Right.
Yeah. It seems like a luxury, but it's not. It's a necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And they got hot. I had to turn
Yeah.
mine off a few times because
Yep.
it was so warm.
mine was always just enough.
Mine was hot.
I will say this: the Cabela's guide wear,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that did do
extreme
good.
parka and snow pants.
It did really well.
I was never ever cold, which is remarkable because it was like 0, and we're going 30 in the snow for hours.
Yep.
It took us like 5.5 hours to get out there to the first lake. Just
It took forever.
it was really fun for a bit, but then it was always like,
What is this?
well, yeah, and it was like we were always worried so and so disappeared. We were always worried.
someone lagging behind.
Then I went back to go find him, and now I didn't come back. It was like that was happening. Yeah, basically.
You never know.
it was just a lot of that. So it was just difficult, and filming it was tough. But boy, did those drone shots with that new drone, the scenery, that is gorgeous.
The thing that I don't understand is how it perfectly captured you on the snowmobile and the snow 2 foot in front of the drone.
Yeah,
that looked amazing.
It's just you're getting everything from every perspective in one shot.
There's a scene in that episode where I'm driving on the lake, which is why we were able to film it the way we did, and there's snow going by. AJ's driving the drone like he always does, just incredibly with this panning motion, but still locked on me. There's 2 rainbows. In the distance, there's a storm. Up close, it's snowing, and it's just incredible. I really wanted to put Celtic music over it, but
Oh yeah, it was that one song.
yeah,
we
I
listened
wanted to
a bunch
put
of
the
times.
what is the
I don't. It was a
we got into it.
Yeah, your dad's song.
My
I forgot
dad
about
was
that.
I'm a sailor's peg, and I lost my leg.
The Dropkick Murphys.
No, it wasn't.
Nice.
We get flagged and then we can't even do it because you did that. No, you're way off. Don't worry. But the it was. I wanted to put like cool Celtic music over it, but
I think it's Celtic.
I think it's Celtic.
yeah, I
The
think
Boston Celtics.
Right.
yeah,
but I think when referencing the music,
no, I think I'm right and you're wrong. Typically,
I'm right.
well, even if you like Google, like what do you like? It's like saying data or data. Like you look it up, you're not gonna like.
Well, no, I think he's right. I think it is Celtic, and I think that's a people. So.
Well, boys, what do you think?
I see the wheels churning over there.
We keep getting stuck.
You just pointed the picture.
He's buried for no reason.
Don't think, okay.
It's
My
just
teeth are
insane
real
out
too.
here.
Anyhow,
Just insane.
we get out there, and we're like, oh, crap, now we have like 2 hours till it's dark. So we fish until dark, and we catch some, and we were able to survey and get some trout and stuff.
You're right.
Nice. Thank you. Good, Kyle. So we did some fishing, caught some cutthroat. It was cool to survey the lake. What was interesting was that lake is typically fishless. A lot of the remote lakes are. So they're stocking the fishless lakes. Not only does it give opportunities to anglers, and the reason why they're doing this in the first place is because anglers said they wanted more fishing opportunities away from all the public. Everyone fishes the Snake River, so it's cool to give locals the opportunity to find these remote lakes and stuff and be able to fish there as opposed to dealing with the crowds. And so we were kind of surveying to see if that stocking worked there. And it did. And it was just cool to see fish in there. But what I noticed about the fishery, because it's like a real small lake, like borderline pushing pond. You know what I mean? But the fish were like, you got the gist that the fish were all swimming in a circle. Because they came from the same direction every time, and they left in the same direction every time, and they all came at once, and they were all gone at once. And you either got one or you didn't.
Is NASCAR.
Yeah, that was the vibe you got, and it's like, all right, see you in 30. You know what I mean? And then like 30 minutes later, it'd be like, oh my God, there's a million of them. All right, they're gone. You know, and that was like the thing that we noticed. But the fishing was good. Seeing that the remote stocking worked, but the reason why they did that too is because it was on the surveys from the anglers that the fishing game did there and was like, hey, what do you want us to do? And they did it, and they used that based on, data and very biologist driven. And
the relationship with the public, the fishing game's relationship with the public in the state of Idaho seems very
healthy.
Yeah,
there's like some people that disagree, sure, but like the communication is there really well, and like they base all their decisions based on the surveys they give to people, so the voices are really heard. And it's like we come from Michigan where 70% of hunters want the DNR dead, so it's like that is it was really refreshing to see very, very scientific measures being taken to the demands of the people being followed through with laws that make sense. Whereas we're lacking that big time in Michigan. Big time. Within a lot
Brett
of
said he was happy with what he was seeing with the fish caught in all the places we were at. He's like, this is a good sign for what's to come. So
yeah,
you're going to get fish.
Yeah, it's like what they're doing is cool. So I would recommend anybody, Idaho being like one of the most low-key states that like doesn't make the radar for people for how good it is. I love Idaho. And then after We were all done filming. We did a wrap, and then we went to, I don't remember,
Jackson Hole.
Yeah, Jackson Hole. It was one of the resorts there, but we went snowboarding.
Snow King.
Yeah, Yeah, I think so. Snow King?
Yeah.
Or is that from the movie?
No, it's not. That's what it's
What
called.
movie am I thinking of?
Out Cold.
Out Cold. It's such a good movie. I like Out Cold.
I think it was Snow King.
It was. So in the movie too, though, right? No, Snow Nook. Snow. I don't remember.
Don't remember.
The movie Out Cold's
Great
hilarious. Blonde's crazy.
Anyhow, we went snowboarding.
And then and AJ got to try snowboarding for the first time.
Yep.
Did pretty
On
good.
Crazy, like on an actual mountain.
He learns on a mountain.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that is the best place to learn.
It was fun going up and down.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You died, dude.
Oh yeah, I couldn't.
Oh yeah,
Go on without me.
Physically,
I pulled
leave me here to die.
Yep.
Yeah, you pull the Laurel.
He goes, he dies on the side of the mountain, and we're like, we gotta go. And he like finally makes his way down. We go back to the hotel room. We're getting changed to go for dinner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's I forgot about that. On the mountain, I felt bad. Like, for those of you who don't know, snowboarding's a workout, but we were also at really high altitude. But in addition to being at altitude, in addition to it being a hard workout, if you don't know what you're doing, it's 7 times more work to do it because you're like crouching extra, moving extra, hard. Everything is harder, and you're just
higher in elevation.
Yeah, it just sucks the living life out of you. Like when you're done, you're dead.
The other hard thing about it too was, like, all our hills here in Michigan are very open. Theirs were, their easy hills were very narrow and
narrower than this room.
And like trees.
And trees.
Yes.
Cliffs.
If you go off the path, you're dead.
It was crazy.
And with a snowboard, you're constantly having to carve to not pick, and you'll pick up a lot of speed still because it's like this, but you'll get going.
Yeah.
So you're like fighting getting going, but it's super narrow. It's very dangerous.
So you can't cut to slow yourself down.
Nope.
It was tough. Even their easiest hills were tough.
On that trip, I had a pretty tore up elbow too from what did I do? Sprained or tore something in my elbow snowboarding on New Year's. I don't remember what I tore, but I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't lift weights for like 5 months.
That was the trip that you.
That was right before it, but I got busted, and then we went on the trip. So that snowmobile ride out there, my elbow was killing me.
That was a really fun day, though.
Go to the hotel.
Yeah, we go back to the hotel. Go ahead. I don't know who wants to tell it, but I just feel like it's not my story to tell.
We go back to the hotel.
I got this. I'm just kidding.
We're getting changed. AJ.
We're going to dinner. We're starving. And he's the hungriest.
Mm. And so me and Kyle are like ready to go.
I showered, of course.
AJ's laying on the bed, and he's like, I'm not going. Like, he's like,
yeah,
like doing nothing. Like, to the point where it's like, bro, are you like actually okay?
Yeah, like I was.
And that's
is it
unusual.
your sugar? You
AJ,
need a sugar?
We're gonna go get food, and we're getting food of our own accord at a place.
At a really nice place.
Hell yeah, I'm in.
No, he was like.
I almost said, "Get me something to go."
Yeah.
I said
he did say that. We had to talk him into going. He said, "I'm not going." It became an argument.
He made it.
It was like that.
Funny though, because Kyle goes, "You're pulling a Laurel," which is Kyle's sister.
Oh yeah.
And AJ goes, he's dead on the bed and goes.
Oh yeah, like that was enough to stop. Like he's like, I will not say leave me here to die.
That was a funny bit.
Yeah, it was. I have to think that you went to dinner to carry out the bit.
I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah,
I started like getting my energy back. But
I got a huge ribeye steak.
Nice.
And they put so much butter on that thing. And that was one of the better meals we've ever had, actually.
It really
was.
was.
A great restaurant.
Yeah, it was really
nice. I remember the name of that.
Yeah, that was a nice conclusion to the trip, and it was neat because we had just done the announcement for History Channel while we were there.
Oh, that's right.
It was like
we were riding a high.
Yeah, we were. And the Airbnb was great. You know, Martin Lawrence.
And Steve Zahn, Marathon.
Steve Zahn.
What
happened to him?
He's so funny.
He is. He's great.
Well, that's the episodes. That's what happened when you didn't see. Yep. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Boy, I think it might be wordy. But that's the Greenway Outdoors podcast for you. This was episode 118. 118. Right? 118.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
You know.
It was episode number.
Ding. We hope you enjoyed this one. Come back next week for another full episode. Thanks for tuning in. Stay green.